Are there a few Stranger Things stars readying themselves for a spin-off? Look, one of the worst things about having a confirmation that Stranger Things Season 5 is going to be the end is that it's going to be the end of the main show. Season 4 just debuted Volume 1 recently, and that has gone over great with fans, so they don't want it to end. But obviously, it will. Unless we get spin-offs. The potential is there and the Duffer brothers aren't saying anything just yet, but could it happen? And if so, what stars are saying they might just join in on the fun? We'll tell you who. Number 9, Stranger Things stars on spin-offs. If you were to do a spin-off, one of the easiest things to do would just be to do a spin-off featuring one of the main cast or the supporting cast of the show itself. That way it's already established and you just have to build off of what you already have. For some of the show's stars, there's only one condition in which they would reprise their roles. I think if it was in 10 years or something like that and there was a movie or a limited series, I think that'd be kinda cool, Finn Wolfhard said. His co-star Charlie Heaton was with him when he said this and his own feelings didn't exactly match. It'd be kinda weird to have a spin-off now, Heaton said, because that would just be another season, Wolfhard chimed in. Indeed, if it happened right away, it would just feel like another season, so give it enough time to make the heart grow fonder in their absence? That is another story entirely. But if there was to be a spin-off of Stranger Things, where could it go? It does have a lot of potential, especially if you think about what happened in Season 4 and the characters that are still on board. Number 8, The Upside Down. Now we won't spoil some of the Upside Down revelations from Volume 1 of Season 4, but now more than ever, this kind of spin-off could work. Think if you cross the underwhelming R.I.P.D. with Beetlejuice's afterlife. Barb, Billy, and Bob, the Duffers, clearly have something against B names, navigate the Upside Down and teach newcomers how to survive this nightmarish underworld. It would also give the Duffer brothers an excuse to do even more horror, which we know that they love. Number 7, an anthology series? Some viewers rightly ask what everyone else is up to while Hopper and company are battling the Demogorgon. From Doris, the Hawkins Middle School secretary, to Mayor Klein's flirtatious wife Winnie, there is a whole town of random residents going about their daily lives. Hawkins hasn't earned the nickname Hell for no reason, and while our series regulars are off saving the day, we would like to see how everyone else deals with the aftermath of the apocalypse. It could also be taken another way. The original premise of Stranger Things was to actually be an anthology series set over decades. So perhaps by the end of Season 5, a series of events has started that will require new heroes and locations across multiple venues and points in time, all tying back to Hawkins, Indiana eventually. We've seen other anthology series work such as American Horror Story, and Stranger Things already has the fan base, so they could easily give this a shot. Number 6, the Hawkins Lab. A goldmine of potential that's ready to explore is what's going on behind the doors of the Hawkins Lab. Some of Lost's best episodes followed the shady Dharma initiative in the 70s, while Fringe made Nina Sharp and Massive Dynamic standout villains in their own right. There's a lot of history in the Hawkins National Lab with MK Ultra experiments starting in 1953 and eventually leading to Eleven's birth, so there's more to mine here that could keep fans interested. The other reason this is important is because it could help connect some more dots to the Upside Down and other things that the main show might not have time or ability to tell in a more natural way. Number 5, Murray Bauman and Dr. Sam Owens. Comedy characters may be a dime a dozen in Stranger Things, but then there's Murray Bauman and Dr. Sam Owens. Even though we simply need to see more of Aliens' Paul Reiser as Owens, the frankly brilliant brainwave of putting him together with Brett Gelman's Bald Eagle at least has the potential of a web series. Picture the scene of Bauman and Owens, paranormal investigations, as the dynamic duo go in search of paranormal goings-on. Given Stranger Things' many Ghostbusters deep cuts, we expect at least some of the characters to form their own spook hunting agency before the credits roll. And if you really think about it, that could work if they nailed the tone right. After all, people do watch shows like that, and if it was kind of a riff of what's happening now but taking place in the 80s after the events of Stranger Things, that could further open up the universe even more. It is weird, yes, but trust us, weird works more times than it doesn't. Number 4, Eleven and Mike, 10 years later. Going all in on Millie Bobby Brown star status, fans have been pitching a 90s or 2000s set sequel that follows Mike in Eleven's older years. Jumping forward to the star-crossed lover in their 30s has the most promise, but we'd have to let the stars age up a bit, which if you recall is what Finn Wolfhard said that he'd be up for. This spin-off is arguably the easiest sell, with frequent rumors Brown could lead her own series. Last year, Deadline reported that Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos described Stranger Things as a franchise being born, with the site claiming the actor could lead her own extension. Now, obviously, this would depend on Millie Bobby Brown and Mike Wolfhard's return to the series after dedicating a lot of their lives to it so far. But don't forget, the two are breakout stars and have been in various series outside of Stranger Things. It, Enola Holmes, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Godzilla, etc. So given that the main Stranger Things story is ending, they might want to take a break for a while. So this wouldn't be a spin-off that could work right now, as noted in the interview that Wolfhard did, but give it some time and they might just come back. Number 3, The Russians. Similar to the premise of a Hawkins Lab spinoff that follows those experimental tots but take a trip to colder climes. While we've been following the Americans trying to grapple the forces of the Upside Down for their own means, it is clear the Russians also went in on the action. There could be a whole contingent of Russian counterparts to our Hawkins favorites, meaning L's Russian equivalent might be giving some Russian Dr. Brenner wannabe the runaround. The Russians had a lot going on in Season 4, but what if we learned more about what happened before they came to Hawkins? There's a lot that we don't know still, so why not expand upon it? Number 2, Dustin and Steve. Much like E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Hart has always been at the center of Stranger Things. Two of those with the biggest are Gaten Matarazzo's Dustin and Joe Keery's Steve. This lovable pairing seems primed for its own spinoff, and it's actually not outside the realms of possibility. Matarazzo told Entertainment Tonight that he would love a spinoff, but only on the condition that it wasn't your standard series. The young actor explained how he'd want a wacky miniseries in the vein of WandaVision, or perhaps the pair popping up on YouTube for weekly hijinks. Now, the fans love this duo, so if Netflix and the Duffer brothers think they can make it work, they'll do it. Number 1, Cali. The second season featured the polarizing episode called The Lost Sister, which saw 11 cross paths with 8 in Chicago. Sometimes a gamble doesn't quite work. Although the episode felt like a backdoor spinoff, the Duffers told Cinema Blend that this wasn't the case, with Matt Duffer simply saying it was more about expanding the universe and the world a little bit. We assume Cali's lukewarm reception didn't help, and although Linnea Berthelsen told NME she doubted there would be a spinoff, now is the time to revisit her. Because at this point, why not? She has a story to tell, and sometimes you need to double down on something that didn't work so that it does later on. Look at Ahsoka Tano for proof of this. She was hated when she first arrived, and now she's beloved. Make it so with Cali, and all will be forgiven. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the potential Stranger Things spinoffs and how it all might go down depending on what happens in the final parts of Season 4 as well as the final season itself? Which of these spinoffs would you personally want to go and see on Netflix? Do you think a different character deserves it? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.